Welcome into the Trust the Plan podcast. I'm Nick.
And I'm Jim.
Today we're talking about the forgotten account.
Oh, I'm intrigued.
Yeah, ready for this? Jim, how does this sound? No tax breaks. You pay taxes on dividends each year.
Okay.
Pay taxes on interest each year received. Pay capital gains tax each year. Mm-hmm. Are you interested?
You know, my first reaction is not quite as interested as I thought I might be.
Well, who would want an account like that?
Who would?
Well, let me tell you. We're talking about the joint investment account, the brokerage account, the TOD account, right? The non-qualified account, the non-IRA, non-Roth IRA, okay? Back in the day, this is all there ever was.
Yeah.
There were no IRAs. There were no 401ks. There were no Roth IRAs. So everything was just a brokerage account. Mm-hmm. So it's been forgotten because everyone's interested in the tax-advantaged accounts.
Yeah, they get intrigued by, pre-tax contributions or a Roth contribution that grows tax-free forever. And these are, obviously they're great accounts and we love them and we encourage people to use them. But I kind of agree with you that the joint brokerage account gets underutilized and underappreciated.
Yeah. So if someone's maxing out their 401, maybe his and hers maxing out, then you're doing a Roth IRA or a backdoor Roth IRA, and maybe an HSA, you've really exhausted all of your tax advantage options,
mm-hmm.
right?
Right.
So then you say, well, what should I do next?
Right. What do I do with the money that I still have to save somewhere?
Yeah. So the natural thought is the joint brokerage account. Mm-hmm. Okay. So here's why we think the joint brokerage account is so important. Okay. Number one, it's the key to early retirement if that's one of your goals.
Absolutely.
Because if you want to retire before 59 and a half and all your money is in an IRA, it makes it a little difficult.
Yeah. You're going to be in a situation where, taxes, penalties, all these things could apply.
So early retirement, also tax management in retirement. If all of your money is in a 401k or IRA, that means that all of the money needs to be taxed still. So as you're pulling it out, every dollar will be subject to taxation.
Yeah, even if you're over 59 and a half, so there's no penalty, to be worried about. All those withdrawals are taxed, so it makes it really hard to do things like convert into Roth IRAs because you're already living on that money.
And like everything you need is taxed, right? So
mm-hmm.
If you need $10,000, well, that's like $12,500, right? Pre-tax.
So take that trip of a lifetime, it's $15,000 plus tax on top of it.
Yeah, and you're trying to stay in the 12% tax bracket. It becomes difficult sometimes.
Yeah.
It's also the key to Obamacare. We talked a few weeks ago about how there's massive subsidies for folks before Medicare age in their early 60s. And if you are able to manage your income, mm-hmm. so you can make a withdrawal from the bank or a withdrawal from your brokerage account and perhaps not be showing any income because it's your money coming back to you, you could be able to get a massive subsidy.
Yeah, it's there's so many opportunities that can be had from living off of a joint investment account and not having to tap those other income sources.
Now imagine if you are retired at 60 and you're interested in doing some Roth conversions. So you're able to live off the joint brokerage account mm-hmm. while doing large conversions to Roth and still stay in that 12% tax bracket.
Right, because then the only money that you're technically showing income on is that money that you're converting. So It gives you an opportunity to have a pretty nice big window of money to convert by still staying in the 12% bracket, which is pretty attractive. Maybe
you're not concerned about Roth conversions, which, I am. Mm-hmm. I love the idea. But some people don't, okay? But maybe they have such a big IRA that they're looking down the road at age 73 and 75 and they're mm-hmm. seeing these huge required minimum distributions looming in the distance, right? You could withdraw from your IRA now and stay in the 12, kind of fill up that 12% bracket and get as much money out of your IRA as you can in that 12, avoiding those huge, or at least reducing some of those huge required minimum distributions in the future.
Yeah, knowing that in the future you're going to be in the 22 to 24% bracket based on the RMD alone.
And look, next year, or I should say in 2 years, the Trump tax cuts will be going away. So, it could be 28% tax brackets.
Yeah,
okay,
very true.
So we'll see. We don't know what's going to happen with that yet. But the forgotten account, right? Sometimes it's back to basics, right?
Yeah, and I think you can even look at it as, we pitched it as like an afterthought, right? People go after the 401s and the Roths and everything, but I think you can make a case to build up that joint account. It gives you so much flexibility. We have clients all the time, even a client now who just had a bunch of stuff go wrong on a house and they just need money. And right now they're stuck having to pull from the IRA, and
That's
the
a bummer.
IRA is taxed and penalized on top of them working. They're going to be lucky to realize, 50, 60% of that money before all the taxes and penalties are due. If you had a nice big taxable account that you could draw from, it gives you a place to do that without penalty.
And maybe if your 401 is so big, right? Maybe you could throttle back on the 401, still do enough to get the match, right? But add to your brokerage account a little bit rather than maxing 401. Just a thought, not advice for anyone. But if you're already so heavy in that pre-tax bucket, an idea is to shift your future contributions for a period of time. And if you were thinking about fire, like we talked about last week, or coast fire, you absolutely need to be considering the brokerage account.
It's essential to be able to have access to that money. You need access to it, and that's the best way to do it.
Yeah, that goes back to the early retirement goal. So if you have an early retirement goal, consider the forgotten account, the brokerage account, and you can check us out at peakwm.com and even schedule online.